Okay. All right. Hello. Good afternoon. I am Raman Kaushal Thapa, Vice Principal, Tulas International School. Thank you all for finding and attending today's webinar. It's a pleasure to have with us Mr. Ajay Sharma, a mindset coach, co-founder and CEO at TPC Global Consultant, certified career counselor with the Times of India. Before we start, let me ask a question with you. Can you see me? Can you hear me? That's great. That's really great. And a great and a fabulous session we had yesterday where the teachers, parents, and the students they asked n number of pragmatic questions with the sir. And I do hope you might have enjoyed the such session. Mr. Ajay highlighted some important aspect of life yesterday, like stress. What is the stress? How do we reduce it? How does it ruin our life? And how to live a stressful life? And sir will give you some more the remedies to deal with stress. And besides stress, sir also discussed with us the emotion, positive and negative emotion. Sir discussed about anxiety, right? And today, Mr. Ajay will discuss with us and he will throw some lights on, right? The lights on your the depression, the most burning topic, okay? In today's, okay, the context, where you will find the children, youth, after getting depressed, they are committing suicide. And yes, children, I would like to tell you one thing, right? Suicide is not the solution. Suicide is not the solution. Recently, I heard one of the best, right? The TikTok maker, right? A girl who was a hardly 16. She committed suicide and ended her life. This is not good. And besides depression, today, once again, the sir will discuss about how to channelize loneliness, fear, anxiety, and how to suppress overthinking, right? And also, sir will discuss about how to overcome with inferiority complex. Inferiority complex, I told to you, it is not at all good, right? If you remain aloof for a longer period of time, you might have or you might develop, right, a sort of, right, the inferiority complex, which lead to negativity. And in case if you have, right, a negative feeling, you cannot survive. It's a better be positive, be optimistic, and live your life happily. Yes, and after these all the points, topics, the last section will be your the Q&A session. And let me explain you how can you talk to us during the webinar. If you have some questions during the presentation, just write down your question to the chat box. So I would request everyone ask as many as questions, right? And make it this session meaningful, interactive, and prolific. Now over to Mr. Ajay. Meaningful, interactive, and prolific. Over to you, sir. Now, over to Mr. Ajay. Now the entire presentation is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. I am there right now. So namaste to all my viewers, parents, teachers, and lovely students. I'm sure you all are enjoying your good time sitting at home, spending your time with your parents, with your friends, with your family, and that is very, very important. So I'm sure yesterday you must have had a good time, and you might have done some analysis on the answers that I was giving you. So today also I would request, once I am showing you some exercises, or we all are doing together some exercises, I would really request you to carry a pen and paper so that you can jot down something that I'm going to discuss today. Today's session is going to be very, very important. I would try and recall what we did in last 2 days, and which all things are really very important, to all of us. So beginning with the EQ and AQ, and I told you that in three pillars of success, there we count AQ, EQ, and IQ. And you see, if you keep IQ for a moment away, EQ and AQ, they count 80% to your success. So I'm sure by now you must have kept that thought in your mind, and you can always practice it day in and day out. So today I will talk about I would begin with the stress management. Yesterday we could leave something on stress, so we would do one of the exercises on stress management. And before that, I would quickly take you through a presentation on stress management so that you could recall what we did yesterday, right? It will really help you out to recall what we did and to practice ahead, in your life. So I will take you to, in fact, the slide. In case you wait for a second, let me share the screen with you. And meanwhile, I would request all of you to, carry a piece of paper and a pen so that you could jot down, all the areas that we're going to discuss today. Till the time I share my screen, I would really request all of you to work on the questionnaire that you all are going to ask. But before that, let us do one thing. We will go for one exercise quickly. Until yesterday, we were practicing stress or so-called loneliness, how to control on that, how to handle all that. So we have one circle of concern and circle of influence, and we call it circle of weakness and circle of strength also. So when I say circle of weakness and circle of strength, right, there are two circles that all of us do have in our personality. And psychologically or over the world, it has been proved that there are 85 to 90% strength that all of us do carry with us. So when I say 85 to 90% strength, which is a huge circle, right? But on the contrary, what happens when we talk about circle of the concern, the weakness? There we have hardly 10% of up to 15% max. Now what happens? There are three scenarios. I would submit one scenario first. Now, first people, what do? They give 85% time to circle of strength, and that's what it deserves, right? And on the other side, there are second people. What do? They give 10 to 15% time on circle of weakness. Now what happens? We have another set of people. What do? They just avoid circle of weakness. They don't even look at it. They don't even consider it, right? They try and focus on circle of strength. So the moment circle of strength keeps expanding, it becomes so big in front of the circle of weakness. The circle of weakness becomes a tiny dot, on this screen. So again, this is very, very important to have. And third variety of people, they look at circle of concern so much. They get concerned with circle of concern, circle of weakness so much. And they keep saying, my God, why is it happening with me? Why did that happen with me only? Why God has chosen me only for this particular, weakness? So my dear friends, my suggestion here out of all three is going to be on two people. One, either you avoid your circle of weakness, right? And one day your circle of strength will become too big. In front of it, your circle of weakness will be a minute dot, right? And second best solution can be you give only 10 to 15% time to your circle of weakness. That's what it deserves, right? And then the circle of strength, the rest time, which is 85 to 90%, all that time you can give to your strength, right? Now, moving on, I'm sure by now you all have a paper and a pen. Make two circles, right? One circle, another circle, and keep a distance, right? Now, in one circle, write circle that you cannot control. Write down circle that you cannot control, right? And in one circle, write down all those things that you can control, okay? And before you put things in those two circles, I would request you to jot down your 5 issues that are troubling you today or in last few days. Can you jot down 5, 6 issues or 10 issues maximum quickly on a piece of paper? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and jot down those issues one by one, right? Quickly. Time is yours now. So I'm available here and I'm waiting. Yes, good. So now these 10 points, quickly start putting them one by one. I told you to write 2 circles. So take those 10 points one by one. First point, take it and pick it in those 2 circles. Now I told you to write down 2 circles. One circle where you can control, another circle where you cannot control, right? You cannot control, you have no control on it. And I call it circle of concern. Circle of influence, therein you have a control. 2 circle, circle 1, you can control, circle 2, you cannot control. So take your 10 things that you jot down, 10 worries that you jot down right away, and put them one by one in 2 circles, right? Now I would like to see in the chat box your comment, right? How many things are lying in circle of concern? That means circle which you cannot control. I would like to see your comment right away in the chat box. Let me know how many things are falling in circle that you cannot control, circle of concern. Please, I would like to see in the chat box right away. Good. Yeah, good evening everyone. Thank you so much. Yes, for your comments, nice. So quickly, I am waiting for your answers. So one by one, jot down things as I told you and put them in circle of concern and circle of influence. Now, as a resultant, let me take you to the result. Now, what happens as a resultant, you will find that 90% things, maximum things that you are writing and which are kind of troubling you, worrying you, giving you a stress, problems, those things you will find falling in circle that you cannot control, falling in circle on which you have no control. So something on which we do not have any control, why to worry about it? Why to worry about it? Let's leave it and keep it aside, all right? And plan strategies to kind of control. Now, let's move on the another circle, which is circle of control. I am sure out of 10 issues that are worrying you, you must have jot down, 2-3 things you might have kept in circle of control, the circle where you can control, right? So that's your area, that's your focused area. Try and spend your maximum time in that circle of influence, circle of strength, circle of control, right? And I'm sure you will be able to meet your capacity, to your ability, and your best of the performance, right? Let me take you quickly to the slide, which is right away in front of us. I'm sure all of you can see the slide also. So I would just make it a little big for you here. Now, if you look here, stress management, right? The first thing is you really have to identify the resource of stress in your life. I told you yesterday also, I'm sure by now you might have jot down those problematic areas, which are actually giving you a lot of troubles or stress, right? So this we discussed yesterday also. Moving on ahead, unhealthy ways of coping with stress. This also I discussed yesterday. We really have to avoid coping, the stress with unhealthy ways. There are a lot of unhealthy ways. Please try and keep them away. They are for short term, but in long term, they are gonna give you physical problems, guys, physical problems. And once they enter, believe you me, doctors, hospitals here and there, it actually, disturbs you a lot. Now, moving ahead, dealing with the stressful situations, there are two ways: change the situation or change the reaction. Right now, what happens when we have change of situation? Something is happening. Now, if you look at something which I told you right away, circle of influence, circle of concern. So there are in life, 10% things, 10% things which are beyond my control, which are beyond anyone's control. I had a lot of examples yesterday also, right? You can have any example. Something is happening with you and you think on it, you will, I'm sure, get to know that you can actually not control it, right? So change the situation. Now here, something 10% which is happening and you cannot control, you cannot change. So please do not try and put stress on it. Do not try and change it. Like Corona is there, COVID-19 is there in all lives, right? Can we change it right now? No, we have to accept with this situation. We have to accept that new tomorrow, and we really have to find our strengths, our capabilities, our capacities, and have to get the time to work on ourselves. Okay. So now there are situations that we can change. There are situations that we can change. So situations we cannot change, there also we have to accept that yes, we cannot change. So there is acceptance. Acceptance is very, very important to all situations. Number two, there are situations that you cannot, you can change. So once there are situations you can change, I am sure you must plan. You must plan to change them, and you can always change them, right? Change your reactions. Okay. So when I say change your reactions, we discussed yesterday, it was more or less, it was the kind of attitude I was referring you to, right? So I discussed perception and attitude. Today also I would spend some more time on perception and attitude, right? So that you all can find the way, of perception and attitude. And through these two terms, how can you deal with any situation which is happening in your life, right? So I will take you ahead to my slide here, right? So if you see here, change your reaction. So changing reaction is something, my friends, which is very, very crucial. You can react positively when you look at something. You can react negatively when you look at something. You may not react at all, right? Example, this is called of laid back attitude. So no reaction at all. You are moving on the road. You are going for let's say to your campus. You are going for your exams, and on the way there are two people who are fighting. So would you pay attention and go there? Who are those two people who are fighting, right? So there you really have to pay no reaction kind of and move to your way. Negative reaction. I told you story yesterday of two frogs. One frog took something negatively and reacted negatively, right? And his behavior, his action, his approaches, everything became negative, right? And the other one, of course, it is always positive. So it depends on you. You have a choice always whether it is positive reaction or a negative reaction, and try and make it positive, right? It will slowly and gradually change your habit, and your habit will change your actions, right? And your actions certainly will behave your will change your behavior. I'm sorry. So now moving ahead here, strategy number one to avoid stress. Number one, avoid unnecessary stress. That means look at your capacity. You should know what is your capacity. And if you think that something is going beyond your capacity and you can't probably do beyond it, right? Try and say no. Learning saying no is equally important. If you say yes, all the areas, so sometimes it might give you stress. So try and avoid that. Okay. Now moving ahead, this slide also I will be sharing, so all of you can read in detail. So alter situation. Strategy number two, alter the situation. Express your feeling instead of bottling down, all the things that you are getting, right? Be willing to compromise. Now what happens? There is a word called flexibility, agility, flexibility, agility. Excuse me, guys. So that's where you really have to work on. And excuse me. Hello. So that's where you have to work on. Please try and spend some time on this slide. I'm going to quickly take you to some more information. So alter situation. right? Manage your time better and be more assertive. So you really have to be positive on situations, right? And strategy number, oh, I'm sorry. So I made it 4. It should be 3. So accept the things that you cannot change, right? So when I'm saying accept something that you cannot change, please read that. Okay, now is it okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm sorry for the interruption, guys. So strategy number 4, accept the things you cannot change. I discussed, I believe, this thing in short. Make the time for fun and relaxation. So go for a walk, spend time in nature, call a good friend, and sweat out tension with a good workout. So good workout is really very, very important. Okay. So I will be present once again to all of you. For a moment, I went away with this screen. So here, I'm sure a screen is available to all of you. Can I see in chat box? Are you able to see the slide? Are you able to see the slide? Okay, wait, let me just change the lookout here. I'm sure now you are able to see that, right? So in case you are not able to see, please write in chat box. I can easily see that. So here, strategy number 4, accept things you can't change. We discussed. Make time for fun and relaxation. So get a work in your garden sometimes, play with a pet, a light scented candles. So there are a lot of ways to kind of make yourself relax and make fun out of things. So you can easily watch comedy movies, serial shows. There are n things which can always give you a good relaxation. Moving ahead, adopt a healthy lifestyle. It is the most important thing, guys. In case you can work on, you really have to have a healthy lifestyle, right? See, the moment we go away from healthy lifestyle, stress is bound to come through our body. And once our body is not reacting positively to our thought process, so there are chances that our thoughts might become negative, right? So we really have to work on so that we go for a healthy, lifestyle. Exercise regularly, eat healthy diet, reduce, caffeine and sugar, avoid alcohol, and drugs. Don't avoid or mask the issues at hand. So you really have to deal with situation that you have. If you can control it, if you cannot control it, please pass the box, right? Or discuss with your seniors, mentors, right? They can always help you out on different issues, right? So now, COC, COI, I have already discussed with you. COC and COI is something which is very, very crucial, right? So here, if you look at now COC, COI, it is something I've discussed and very, very important. COC, I call circle of concern. COI, I call circle of influence. Okay. And these two things we have already discussed. And then now I have here stress management in your life quickly to tell you this thing I told you yesterday also. So quickly have a look on that: meditation, exercise, time in nature, sleep well, all that. I just wanted to show you through some infographics. That's it. Now, before I move on to adversity quotient, right? Adversity quotient. Any question that you have in your mind or you would like to ask? Raman sir, we can take on 1 or 2 questions quickly before we move ahead, so that it doesn't become monotonous and we could work on a few new things. Raman sir, can you hear me? Raman sir, can you hear me? Okay, not an issue. So in the comment box, I would really request and appreciate in case you can have quick questions, on the areas I've discussed so far. Before I jump on the adversity quotient, which is very, very important. Adversities do come in all our lives. So I'm going to quickly tell you what is the meaning of adversity and what all it can fetch to all of us, right? And how we can convert the obstacles into opportunities. Okay, so before that, any question you have, I would really request you to write in the chat box the comment. I would be able to answer and deal with your problem. Rather, I'll be very happy. All right. So now, anyway, till the time Raman sir joins us, or you can directly ask me questions. I'm right away on this screen. I'll be happy to see your comments and questions. Before I answer you all those, let me look at that. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Okay. So lesser questions, no worries. So let's quickly move on to the areas where we were. Okay. So if I look at your adversity quotient, right? The first thing, you really have to know what it is, right? So when I say adversity quotient, what it is, right? Adversity, you can always say, I call it an opportunity, right? And in fact, a lot of people have taken it in terms of opportunities, and that's how they have been able to be successful, to achieve their targets. So I will have a quick, incidences with you here. I'm sure you must be knowing, Bill Gates' one story. Before becoming the world's richest man, in the beginning, his company miserably failed. His company miserably failed, right? So I would take you here. Which company it was? Trafo Data, right? Trafo Data was a company, which was into reading traffic tapes and processing the data. So in terms of traffic, reading the data and processing the data, right? And you will you believe that their presentation, their particularly the product, could not even work with the client end, right? So on client end, the product could not even work, and it was a miserable failure, right? So he did not stop it there. He did not stop it there. He kept on moving, right? And a day came that he became the world's richest man. All right. Now, taking you ahead, Mr. Bachchan's, about Mr. Bachchan's life at year or at the age of 50. Yesterday, somebody asked me a question. Mr. Datta was his surname, sorry. So Mr. Datta asked me a question, and question was, at the age of 48, what can be the stress possibly, and how to control the stress. So my dear friends, at the age of 50, Mr. Bachchan, his company ABCL got bankrupt, right? Tax department sent the recovery for his house to pay his due loans, right? No money, no film at all. And see what changed his life. Kaun Banega Karodpati came, couple of movies came in his life, which became blockbuster. And all the stories there on the success. So see what happens before any difficulty comes in your life. You always have two options, as I told you. Either you can look at it from a positive angle or from the negative angle, right? Choice remains always yours. I would only guide you and kind of suggest you to look at things from a positive perspective. It gives you a lot of inspiration, and as I told you yesterday, you get a lot of strength from all corners, right? You might not have heard about somebody, right? And his name is Sir Ernest, the Shackleton. So Sir Ernest Shackleton, or Shackleton, you call it in terms of pronunciation, right? He was, a traveler, right? He was a traveler, and he used to travel all over here and there. So in 1914 August, right, he was given a task. Rather, he took a task. You can, I would request you to look at him while googling about him, right? So before him, nobody could cross, Antarctic Ocean. Nobody could cross Antarctic Ocean and reach that Elephant Island, right? He was the man who took the kind of decision that yes, he is, gonna cross that Antarctic Ocean. And one day he did that. So August he began, and when he began his journey, and when he ended his journey, it took 2 years to come back and be successful in his task. But let me tell you what all problems happened. His ship called Endurance got sunk, rather got trapped in the ice, right, in the Antarctic Ocean, right, and it got frozen, and later on it got sunk. They had to be on live boats for months, for days, right, and that's how they could reach the Elephant Island, right. And it was so difficult. So we call it adversity. We call adversity people, our soldiers, in Siachen, they are fighting, they are sitting, and they are practicing under minus 30-degree temperature. I call it adversity, difficult situation to face, right? So let's move on. How can we work on adversity? And here all of us really have to work on our ability to manage situation, right? Yesterday also I was telling you, it can be, friends, a stress, it can be loneliness, it can be anything in life, right? I connect things, your capacity, your ability, to manage something, right? So once you start, manage things properly, handle things properly, I am sure you can be a winner and you will have all confidence around you. Okay, so taking you ahead though, there are a lot of stories to share, right? 10 examples of different lives altogether wherein you can learn, right? So now, core dimensions of AQ: control, ownership, reach, and endurance. Right. So I will quickly control it for you. Discuss with you. I think let me just enlarge my screen for all of you so that you can, you know, uh, look at it with the comfort zone. Yes, I'm sure now you can read through the screen in a better way, right? So, if you see core dimensions of AQ, you have control, the extent to which you perceive it can influence what happens next, what is going to happen. You can control, right? It determines your resilience. If you can control a situation, it makes you more resilient. And friends, resilient, let me tell you what is this definition. People who call adversity quotient, they call it signs of resilience, right? So we really have to control and learn the signs of resilience and control situations that are happening or coming to us, right? Now, here, ownership. See, any situation it comes and you think that you can solve it, which is falling in your control segment or circle of control, try and take ownership, take accountability, and say, yes, I will do it, and plan for it. Next area is plan for it. And once you plan it, execute it, it comes your own way. Believe you me, you achieve success, right? And that's how you convert obstacle into an opportunity. Okay. Moving ahead, we have reach, right? The four dimensions, we call it core, right? For third dimension is reach. The extent you think the adversity will reach into and affect you. That means can be a burden, it can be a stress, it can be other effects that might be on you, right? So try and do some analysis on reach, that what is the depth of that adversity, that situation which you are actually facing. And then we have endurance, right? The length you perceive the situation will last or endure, right? It determines your hope, your optimism, and your willingness to survive. Your willingness to survive, right? Very, very important. So I will take you ahead. Before I do that, let me be present to all of you once again before you start feeling bored. I understand sometimes presentation, make you feel bored. So that's really very, very important for you to understand this area. Okay. So now moving ahead on it. The next science of resilience, how to develop your AQ, right? And before that, let me take you to one slide. You will understand the benefit of AQ, right? Benefits of AQ, if you look at what it predicts your productivity, performance, motivation, creativity, confidence, energy, longevity. So you see, once you know how to handle adversity, once you improvise on AQ, once you improvise on how to deal with situations or adverse situations, believe you me guys, you improve not only on AQ, but as a resultant you are improving on EQ. You are improving on EQ also, right? I will come on that part also quickly in some of my slides. So let me take you back. Science of resilience, how to develop your AQ. See the changes from balanced perspective. I think I discussed yesterday with you. From a balanced perspective means you cannot look at it from one angle. Look at it from multiple angles. Okay. On the change, if you cannot change it, I've discussed. Action plan, we've discussed. Find strength in community. That means meeting friends, meeting people, meeting society, right? Staying in touch with people and receiving feedback is very, very important, right? So you please ensure that you believe in feedbacks and you are taking and working on feedbacks very, very frequently. Now, strengthen your heart and mind. I was talking about IQ and EQ, which is very, very important. Celebrate your progress often. Celebrate your progress often. Improvise on your habits and behavior every day. Generate positive positive outlook through perception and attitude. Friends, we can discuss at length on it. At length, we can discuss on it. But since time is a constraint, we'll quickly try and wrap up this PPT form, and we'll be in QA round quickly, right? So lead your AQ, listen, engage, analyze, and do. Lead. Always remember the word called lead. So any difficulty comes in your way, first concept called core. Second concept is lead. Listen, engage, analyze, and do it. Right. So this slide I'm gonna share with you at the end of my presentation or in few days. Right. And before I move on, inferiority complex, I would quickly jump on question and answer round, and then we would take on some questions. And meanwhile, I would like to invite Raman sir so that we can have some questions. Raman sir, are you there? Can you listen to me? Can you hear me? Raman sir, are you there? Okay, can I please request few questions quickly before we move on? I am inviting Raman sir also. There seems to be some technical error, but that's all right. I would really request you to, be there with your questions. I would love to deal with your questions, right? So please, or maybe yesterday we had a QA round which was too big, so it might find a little difficult to have more questions, because yesterday we had really a very good question answer round. Kumar Jain has a question, and Kumar's question is, sir, I have a question, how to tackle the stress given by the society to the parents for their child studying and unknowingly which is transmitted to their children. Wow, very good question. Kumar, I must congratulate you for this. Very nice. See, what happens, Kumar? It is a stress. I don't call it, but yes, it's an information to thought which we convert into a stress, right? So when it happens, always try and discuss your hidden potentials, right? And try and you see your hidden potential. And criticism which is coming to you, never try to stress yourself. It can be something to make you awake. If there is an information which can make you awake, and take it as a challenge, right? And in terms of marks, result, exams, they happen every 2 months, 3 months, right? If you are really good at studies, wonderful. If you are not good at studies, try and work on it, make a plan, right, on the subjects where you think that you are a little down, right? Number two, if you do not enjoy study, try and create some interest, right, while connecting that with your goal. What do you want to achieve in life? And I'm sure once you connect that with your goal, right, you are in a better position kind of to deal with the situation which is coming to you from your parents or from society, right? And always remember, society is there to comment, but you convert it into a compliment when you achieve something. So do not pay attention to that criticism if that criticism is affecting you. Rather pay attention to your strengthen areas, to your positive, your potential areas, right, where you have a capacity, and try and do something excellent there. People will automatically come to know once you do something great, right? Keep focusing. And these are the only people who would come to you and say, wow, what a great job, Kumar Jain, I'm so happy, we are proud of you. Wait for that moment, but that moment you have to create a plan so that your parents, your society can feel proud of you. Okay, thank you so much. So next question I would like to have. Can I have next question, please?
Can you hear me, sir?
I have Raman sir with me.
Yeah.
Yes, Raman sir, please.
Yeah, one question is there for you, which is being asked by Aryan Khurana of class 11 Commerce.
Okay.
Okay, so he says, sir, whenever I think about my career, I get stressed.
Okay.
How to remove that stress?
About career.
Yeah,
What is
about
his name?
career. Aryan Khurana of class 11 Commerce.
Aryan. Okay. Aryan, beta, career is never a stress, right? Career is an opportunity which luckily very few people have got or are getting in this world. If you look at data, there are many people rather who are not able to make it to school. Once God has given you a chance to make your career, you should plan for it. It's a planning that we could work on,
Right.
right? When does it give us stress? When you compare yourself, with your friends. If you're getting 85% and maybe your sibling, your cousin, your friends, they're getting 90%, right? So you might be comparing yourself. As I told you yesterday, unless you find the cause and you identify what is that stress and how it is coming, what is that, what is that source of stress.
Mhm.
So once you have that source, try either avoid it or change it. Okay, and try make a plan towards your area, do some analysis. If it is career, what makes you worried about career, right? Whether you will be able to make it or not. Forget about, live in present. When you make your present beautiful, right? And what happens, bache, most of us try and live in future, right? Before corona, they were, I would say, mostly everybody was living in future. I think today everybody is living in present. So I would request you make your present better, right? And live in your present 70%. Enjoy your moment, enjoy your current subject area that your faculty or teacher has given you. Tomorrow would be a beautiful day for you to fly in the sky, right? So please, let's have another question, sir.
Yes, sir. Mr. Sandeep Datta wants to ask, how can we discover a path from negative mindset to a positive mindset?
Okay, great, beautiful. I think Mr. Datta is the same personality who asked a question on his stress yesterday at the age of 48.
Yes, sir, he's the same one.
Great. So I am sure he must have listened to me when I talked about Mr. Bachchan, got bankrupt at the age of 50. And there are a lot of people, even Abraham Lincoln become the president of, USA at the age of 55. So negativity, Mr. Datta, I would discuss in a way, हम सब लोगों ने, okay, I would have in that way. All of us do take care of our health. Yes or no, Raman sir?
Yes, sir.
So while taking care of our health, daily we eat something very good. Especially during Corona, we have been eating, in the best possible way. So everybody has been able to generate good habits, eating habits. Okay, so we call it a stomach food. We call it food for your body, right? Now, are we able to get a food for our mind? If you eat something bad, if you eat something steel, I would say something bad, right, in that way, which is dangerous for our stomach, I am sure we will not be able to wake up or become unconscious, right? Or our stomach will get upset. Similarly, there are information all around us. When I go out, there are information, pieces of information all around me. It is me which one to pick, right? If I am giving my mind a negative food, we always say no, food for thought. If we are giving a negative information to my mind, that means I am giving a negative food to my mind, and it will start cooking and cooking and cooking inside, which will, it will further give a birth to a lot of further issues. So first step, when you look at something positive, try and do it quickly. It can be a little difficult. It has been said, we observe good things always take time, and bad things are quickly available, right? Example, if I want to copy somebody's assignment, that's very easy. If I want to gift my son something very very good, I can go in the market and buy a laptop for my son, buy a bike, buy a car for my son, right? But if I really want my son to have an experience in life, what will I do? I will take him with me somewhere and I will spend time with him, so that he remembers throughout his life that yes, that positive information was given to him. So we all invest in materialistic things. We buy cars, we buy gadgets, we buy n things. I would request my audiences, please, for God's sake, start giving your mind a good food for thought, right? And that can be given only when you give your life beautiful experiences. And beautiful experiences do come when you invest on your mind. That means you can buy a good book, read it in that way. All right. So, can we have another question, please? If Mr. Datta is convinced by the answer. In case not, I would
Definitely.
request him to throw another question.
Right,
Yeah.
sir. See, here's another question which is being asked by Jaswinder Kaur, PGT Chemistry, Tulad International School. Her question is, Sir, do we have a numerical index for AQ as we have for EQ and IQ?
Okay. Beta, we have numerical index for AQ and IQ and all these also. But I would request at your age, I think Sanjeevani is a student. Yesterday also I could answer her question, right? Sanjeevani is in
Yes,
class, I think 11 or
11
9,
science.
right?
11 science.
11. 11 science. So beta, it is for you, it's too early to get into such area. Why are you getting into marks? You're already into marks of IQ in this school, right? So I would request, get away from such things. It is available. If you want, you can appear for a test of EQ also, AQ also. There is another Q which is SQ, is spirituality quotient. There are so many Qs in life, right? So let's not be in the queue of Qs. All right. So what I discussed, three things: AQ, EQ, and IQ. AQ से क्या होगा? Once you can deal with AQ beautifully, and you are converting that obstacle into opportunity, automatically your mind will have good thought. You will gain good confidence. You will become a better personality out of you, right? Once you become a better personality out of you, फिर क्या होगा? Your actions, your behavior, your thoughts, सब कुछ change हो जाएगा. उसके change होने से आपका EQ change हो गया, राइट? EQ चेंज हो गया, राइट? उसके बाद क्या हुआ? आप हैप्पी नजर आने लगे. द मोमेंट यू आर हैप्पी, ऑटोमेटिकली योर इंप्रूवमेंट ऑन स्टडीज विल टेक प्लेस. हमारा पढ़ाई में मन इसलिए नहीं लगता बिकॉज इंफीरियोरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्शन, दिस इज स्ट्रेस, peer pressure, competitiveness, right? Competition with my friends, with myself, with here and there, too much of expectations, right? Your goal should be smart. Your goal should be smart. Your goal should not be realistic. अगर हमारे परसेंटेज 70 आ रहे हैं, so मुझे slowly and gradually उसको improve करना चाहिए. Small example, Raman sir, if I apply 10 push-ups today, मैंने आज 10 push-ups लगाए, right? और मैंने कल क्या किया? उनको 50 कर दिया. उनको 50 कर दिया. क्यों किया? चैलेंज लिया, मुझे 50 पुशअप मारने. क्यों? मैंने फ्रेंड से बोला है अपने 50 मार सकता हूं, मेरी कैपेसिटी है, आई कैन डू दैट. अब आपने आउट ऑफ रियल्म तो कर दिया उसको, बट मैं 50 पुशअप लगाने के बाद 2 दिन 3 दिन तक एक्सरसाइज नहीं कर पाया. सो आपके जो गोल है ना बच्चे संजीवनी, दे शुड बी रियलिस्टिक, राइट? कमिंग टू योर क्वेश्चन स्ट्रेट अवे, you can check your EQ, IQ, and happiness quotient also. Anyway, there are resources available. Either you can buy or you can meet me in your campus after your this time gets over. I hope I could answer your question. Thank you so much, Sanjeevi.
So that question was asked by Ms. Jaswinder Kaur, the PGT chemistry teacher. Right. So moving to the next question. This question is being asked by Mr. Hemant Bist. How does?
What was that question PGT ma'am asked?
So that was the question which was asked by ma'am.
What was it?
Replied it.
This EQ and IQ.
Yeah.
But you said Sanjeevani Arya asked.
I said Jaswinder Kaur.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I think Sanjeevani has a question right in front of me. Sir, how can we help someone who is suffering from depression at our own level? I will come back to you, Sanjeevani. I'm so sorry to ma'am for passing the question. But anyway, please. Yes, sir.
Okay. So here is another question for you. And this question has been asked by Mr. Hemant Bist. How does reading help in breaking free from stress?
How reading helps in reducing stress?
Yeah, breaking free from stress.
Yeah. See, when you read book, you generate thoughts in your process. And I have been telling you again and again, mind is just, searching for a food, which is information. Through picture, through incidences, we are giving our mind a food. So once you are reading a book, you are lost in that world. Like when you watch a movie, which is too much of a stress. So don't you think when you come out of movie, you say, what a rubbish movie, what has it given? So much of emotional drama, so much of all that. So likewise, what do you do when you read a book with a patience? If you do not have a patience to read the book, then the book will not be yours. So read a book with a good time in hand, right? And patience should always be there. So when you read a book, you are giving a positive thought to your mind, right? And you create a picture or a story all around, and you connect yourself with that thought. So when you are in the patience, you are actually connecting your thoughts with the thoughts of the books, right? And that's how you can generate further good thoughts, right? So this is how I'm sure you can do. But this only happens once you are reading good books, right? I would request you to always be in good books, which can always inspire you. I can give you few books, In Search of Excellence by Tom Peter, Count Your Chicken Before They Hatch, or Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. So there are umpteen books, that you could buy from the market. Please, I am sure I could answer this question, sir. Moving ahead.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Now, Architya Banka of class 12 science. He wants to ask, how can we overcome from our mood swings we had during stress and anxieties?
Okay. I think yesterday we answered this question. What is his name?
Architya Banka.
Is a student?
Yeah, she's a student of class 12 science.
Okay. Uh, Bache, your question is really nice, right? But see, moon swings, as I said yesterday, moon swings do happen. When we have 10 things in our mind, out of those 10 things, 8 things I could not do. I am feeling little sad or upset because there I could not become successful, or something I left incomplete, which was really, really very, very important, right? Or something pissed me off. There can be ditch into relationship. There can be 100 ways. But any stress, whether it is a mood swing or any other stress, you really have to work on mood swing in such a way. Jot down things that you have in your platter. This answer I gave yesterday also. Jot down things that you have in your platter, that means in your mind, and make a plan to execute those things one by one, right? And complete thing first, which is the most important. I taught you urgency index yesterday. Try and cover the best things, the most important things first. Once you do that, you can easily try to be in a right path. Number three, what can happen? The hormonal changes also sometimes, or hormones development, that I call in terms of in the age of adolescence, right? That hormone changes also can be the cause of mood swings. But that happens for a fraction of time, maybe for an hour or half an hour. But once you switch on something, I would say you focus on something for an hour. It can be a good book, it can be a good movie, it can be going for a walk. Try and focus on one thing. So once you focus on one thing where you enjoy, you see that your mood swing will get away. Yes, sir. Please, next one.
Sir, this is a question of Sanjeevani Arya of class 11 science. And her question is, how can we help someone who is suffering from depression at our own level?
Great. Sanjeevani, the first thing, I am sure, and we all feel very, very sad, for Sushant, Singh also. And we all loved him so much, right? And everybody's thinking, I wish I could save him. And I'm sure a lot of, his fans must be thinking the same. But people who could do something to save him, they did not do anything. So that's where our role comes in. As a friend, as an acquaintance, as a known person to someone who is suffering from depression, the first thing, try and bring his emotions out. Number one, try and make him communicate things, right? And then try and connect him with his past, right? With his past in a way which is full of happiness, full of achievements, so full of progress, results. So there are always things in one's life which has given one lot of achievement. So once we celebrate our success could be in past, could be in present. So try and celebrate his success in front of him. Try, if you know that person, try and take him in those ways where he or she feels happier, right? And if you think that depression, or I would say that anxiety at initial level, and if that depression is really going to a kind of a level or staying for more than a week, please take him to a doctor immediately. Any depression, any anxiety which is living in you for more than 2 3 days, 4 days, do not delay it. go and meet the doctor or the clinical psychologist. It is very, very important, right? That's how you can really help your friend or someone that you know. Thank you.
All right, sir. This is the last question for this segment, and
Yeah.
yeah, the Jeffrey Ahmed of class 11th Humanities. He wants to ask a question with you, sir. How can we overcome apathy and dullness?
Okay. How can we overcome?
Apathy and dullness.
Okay. Now, see, what happens again when I say dullness, sympathy. So, it happens. Number one, I am not physically active, right? Not physically active. So I have to ensure that physically I'm very active these days. All of you are sitting at home. I don't know how much physical exercises you are doing. Rather, I see all the students very busy on digital platforms, digital learning, right, and on mobile phones. So I would request, be away from these gadgets at least for 2 hours in a day. You should not be in a area of mobile, TV, and all that. Get into some physical exercise. Number one. Number two, try again all those things which I've been discussing. Number two, try and celebrate your success, celebrate your moments, celebrate your happiest moments that have happened with you in your life. Recall that, plan your goals, execute those goals. If something wrong is happening, accept that, right? If you are at responsible area, once you accept it, you really kind of, you have the capacity, you develop kind of energy to think for it. If you do not accept something, you do not develop the capacity inside you to kind of deal with that change. Okay, so dullness, I'm sure, can be worked on that, right? But if that dullness is for a long time, please try and speak out that dullness, discuss with your parents, right? And first try and cover it at your own end for 3-4 days. I'm sure it is something which is very, very common. It comes to me also sometimes, it comes to many people sometimes. We feel like low. You're talking about that area, right? So I'm sure once you get into all energetic things, you search for some inspiration sessions on YouTube, watch them. You kind of speak with some of your mentors in your school. I'm sure you love your teachers. I love my teachers till now, right? And I really want to go back to my school life. You ask anybody would love to go back to school life, right? So you are in such a lovely and blessed age, I would say. You live that moment, and any problem comes up in terms of that, please speak with your teachers, communicate with them, and watch a beautiful movie, or a lot of examples that I gave you yesterday also. Yes sir, please, we can move ahead.
Okay, sir. I have some more questions, sir. Would you like to take them up?
Yeah, please.
Okay, sir. This is the question of Mrs. Vandana Jain, the parents of Tulas International School, and her question is, sir, if we try to motivate our children, are we
Yeah.
trying to give them stress to get good percentage?
Okay, very nice. Miss Vandana, right?
Yes, Mrs. Vandana Jain.
uh, Mrs. Vandana Jain, first, namaste to you as a parent, and I can understand your area of concern. See, it depends what are we motivating our child for. As I said, goals that we generate for our child, or a child develops for himself or herself, that goal should be realistic. Achieving or making a goal which is realistic is very, very important. As a parent, we really have to avoid so-called criticism, passing negative comments, comparing with their siblings or cousins or neighbors, right? That's something which disturb kids a lot. As a parent, we take care of our kids in terms of good food daily basis. As a mother, I can see, all mothers on this earth, they are god, right, for their children, and they do any possible thing to take care of their health. So I would also request, at the same time, you give them a good food for thought, as I discussed, right? So motivation can always work. Motivation rather always works. When you see in motivation, time and placement is very important. Time and placement is very important. One motivation, Mrs. Jain, is you inspire your child. Listen bache, if you become like that, life becomes so beautiful. Everybody will feel so proud of you, and I'll be very happy to see you becoming that. So one motivation is taking your child into an imaginary world, into an imaginary world. Second motivation is a realistic motivation or an situational motivation. Motivation is situational also. So your child does something good. Your child does something good and you appreciate your child. That point in time, that's the reason I said placement and time. So that time, if you appreciate your child, he would feel these words as inspiration. Number two, when your child does even a mistake, when your child gets even failed, right, that's even more important. For you, it is more important to tell him that failure is not something which has come to your child only. Failure has something is something which comes to everyone's life. So हमें अपने बच्चे को सिखाना है कि how to deal with these difficulties and failures. जिस दिन अपने अपने बच्चों को failure से लड़ना सिखा दिया, they are already motivated, right? And we have to ensure that even if we are kind of giving them a signal of negativity, we kind of show them both the pictures, putting them in a situation that if you do this, this happens. If you do this, this happens. Some parents, sometimes what happens, अगर तेरा यही हाल रहा ना, I would be little here nasty in that way. अगर तेरा यही हाल रहा ना, तो मुझे लगता नहीं तू पास हो जाएगा, right? अगर तेरा यही हाल रहा ना, तो इतने टाइम खेलता रहा, मोबाइल पे लगा रहा, तो भगवान ही मालिक है. So somehow एक रिसर्च है, I would like to share with you, जो मैंने शेयर नहीं करी in last 2 days. रिसर्च कहती है साइकोलॉजी की, इन टर्म्स ऑफ साइकोलॉजी, जो हम बच्चों की साइकोलॉजी डेवलप करते हैं ना, उसमें से 50% साइकोलॉजी बायोलॉजिकल होती है. बायोलॉजिकल होती है, इट कम्स फ्रॉम पेरेंट्स. सो जो एज ए पेरेंट हम अपने बच्चों के साथ करते हैं, वो अपने बच्चों के साथ करेंगे या वो अपने सिबलिंग्स के साथ करेंगे, एंड इट कैरीज ऑन. And another 50% lies in us. We can control it. So I am sure Mrs. Jen, I think I could answer your question, right? Thank you so much for asking the question.
All right, so one more question is there. This question is being asked by Yuki Nagar, and she asks, I make a goal, but I cannot achieve it. Could you please help me and suggest me how to achieve my goal?
I make a goal and I cannot achieve it.
Could you please suggest me how to achieve my goal?
Okay, what is her name?
Yuki Nagar. She is
Yuki Nagar, a student?
Yes, she is a student, sir.
Who must be class 9 then.
Yes, her age is 15.
Great. So, Bache, here what happens? So, we make goals. We make goals to achieve them, right? I would request, when you make a goal, right, again and again I'm saying it, it has to be realistic. Number one, you have to plan the steps. Like if we have to walk to Missouri, on the way we have to have relax, we have to have break also. Similarly, I have to design a strategy, plan for a strategy towards my goal, that which all the steps am I going to achieve my goal. So once I jot down those steps, I am able to achieve them, right? Number one. Number two, for goals, I really have to see what all resources I need. Sometimes what happens, there are resources in me. I know I can do that. But those goals I have not discussed with my close friends, with my parents, or with my teachers, right? Those who could really help me and where I have a firm belief that these people can really help me in achieving my goal. So sometimes I receive a lot of ideas. So in that way, you can discuss your goals with your loved ones, right? Number three, while writing goals, always write what all resources do you need? What all resources do you need to achieve that target or goal, right? It can really make you achieve that. Let me take you to my studies. When I was, in class, I would recall in my school days, although there are a lot of incidences, when I was in my second semester, so there was a couple who always used to come first, right? So I did analysis and I was getting somewhere around 77%. And that couple, I used to call them couple because they were like couple in the class, okay? Everybody used to call them couple. So Now what I did, I wrote their names, which was very, very important. I wrote how much percentage they were getting, which was very, very important. Third important thing I did, I wrote that percentage also of another person who was getting nearby their percentage. So sometimes while writing goal, what do we forget? We forget the nearby areas, the resources, something which can impact you, right? And the last and the most important thing in a goal, please keep your goals in your eyes. Once you live with your goals, you sleep with your goals, you eat with your goals, and you write your goals anywhere on the wall, right? Or on a piece of paper on the wall, paste it, right? Look at it every time. Believe you me, you can achieve your goal. I did the same. I wrote it, and pasted the paper on the wall. And believe you me, the incident which I'm sharing with you, in third semester, I was the topper of my branch. I got 83% something, and I topped my class, right? So if you are getting some goal, but it is to be realistic. If अगर मेरे परसेंटेज 40 में आ रहे होते और मैंने चैलेंज लिया होता एक सेमेस्टर में, 3 months में, 4 months में, कि मुझे 80 plus लाना है, so that goal would have been unrealistic. Okay, so please work on that.
See, here's one more question. Shivi Comedy of class 12 science wants to ask,
Okay.
inferiority complex makes us miserable. So,
Yeah.
do we feel mentally unconscious during that time?
Okay, great. What is the name?
Shivi Comedy.
Okay, Shivi Kamble. Shivi, just a second. Let me just take you. So I would like to share the slide,
Alright,
and
sir.
this one I really want to cover in a fraction of minutes quickly, and then we'll jump on a few more questions. Okay, because this
Yes,
slide is still left. I really want all of them to understand inferiority complex and what is it. Okay.
yes, sir.
Now I am sure. Can you see the slide? Now I think it is available.
Yes.
Now here I go. Is it coming? No, it is not coming yet.
Yes, sir. We can see it.
I think now we can see it, okay,
Yes.
in a better way. So I will take you to inferiority complex, which is really important, and I was to cover it today. Here, if you look at it, number one, we have to understand what is the cause of it, okay? What is the cause of it? And then we'll talk about signs and symptoms of it, and then we'll talk about strategies to handle it, okay? Now, first thing, what is the cause, right? Now, upbringing of a child, of course, which cannot be the error of a child, right? If a child is getting from all corners, you cannot do it, or it is not in your area, you are not taking care of yourself. In a way, we are passing a lot of comments, right? So, as a parent, we really have to avoid passing comments, okay, to our children, always. Now, upbringing next, negative remarks discussed, constant criticism. Criticism is good once in a while, or 20-30% it is good. But if we live only in criticism, sometimes our psychology, our behavior, our mental thoughts gets disturbed. Okay, so then feeling of comparison, as I discussed, it can be a peer pressure, it can be any feeling of comparison. It disturbs and brings us what? Inferiority complex. Poor academic performance, somewhere we are not able to get good marks, it can also lead to inferiority complex. Financial status of parents, their parents are not financially strong, in that way also we can generate this complex, right? Or family, or religion, or caste, or our body, our face, height, speech, vision, weight, or I am fair, I am dusky, why am I dusky, getting it? So these are few things. So as we need to handle stress, I discussed, we need to know the real cause. Similarly, in inferiority complex, I really have to work on the real cause of it. The moment I am tagging the real cause of this complexion, I can easily control it. Okay, taking you ahead, signs and symptoms. Somebody is avoiding being with friends, somebody is not going outside, he is preferring to stay at home rather than going outside and playing, avoids participating school activities, or the person lives in his own the person does not smile, the person does not celebrate events, or is not happy, or refusing to speak with guests, right? So a lot of things can happen. And believe you me, it is the complexion again which gives a lot of stress, and which can further take someone to anxiety and to depression also. So again, it has to be dealt with a lot of positivity in mind of parents and teachers and students. So inferiority complexion is something, Raman sir, which, as a teacher, as a parent, as a student, it is my responsibility, it is a responsibility of everyone to take care of our children, our students. Okay. So now, how to handle these areas? Recognize your hidden potential. Now you have to know your hidden potential. When I say hidden potential, you only will not know it. Your parents, your teachers, they also should work on your hidden potential. They should give you a platform. Rather, you should work on platform where your hidden potential comes out. Okay, taking you ahead. Pen down your achievement, celebrate your success or happiness or any example in the past every day. Keep that in mind. Remember, everybody is unique. Stop comparing. Avoid criticism. Slowly improve to accept it. Why am I saying avoid criticism? Initially, when you face inferiority complex, you just cannot tolerate or take criticism further, right? So what happens there? Just avoid it. But slowly and gradually, as a human, all of us should accept the criticism. It works as an inspiration also, right? I had a lot of examples yesterday on criticism and how to convert it into optimism and confidence. I am sure there are 100 ways. Then all these, I think we have discussed: be in good books, plan your goal, watch comedy and all that. Okay. Now, so I think Ramansa, I could hear she might have got her answer,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yeah,
Here
yeah.
she might have got her answer. So in
Right,
case
sir.
she wants to ask some more questions, she can, please. Now.
Okay. Can I ask one more question with you, sir?
Yeah, please. Last
Right.
day, I really don't want anybody to be away from questions. I want
Thank you
to
so
ask
much.
and handle every question. Yeah,
Right,
please.
sir. This question has been asked by Mr. Avdesh Thakur, a physical instructor at the Last International School. And his question is, in a sports anxiety at optimum level is it good for better performance? How can we know that
Yeah.
we are that level, or how to keep the anxiety at optimum level?
Okay. I would say to convert this word that you are saying, Mr. Thakur, in terms of curiosity. When you have this anxiety, or you are calling it anxiety, I would call it curiosity. In a way, if I am a sportsman, and I am a martial artist, okay, I fought through in that fight. So now, as a instructor, or when we prepare for any race, or let's say I am making a target for myself which I want to achieve, so I should work on my curiosity. I should be more excited to achieve it, right? And in that excitement, I should plan better. So once I convert all this into curiosity, excitement, imagine I am doing that, I am doing that good thing, I am able to do that, right? So when you convert things, with your ability to manage things, with your good imagination, with your excitement, with your curiosity, I think we are able to avoid such words called anxiety. Maybe for a physical instructor, I don't think is that word, right? So that's how we could take it ahead.
Uh,
Yes, sir. Please, next one.
yes, sir. Uh, Sir, here is a question for you from Jafrin Ahmed, class 11 Humanities, and she wants to ask a question. What arises self-sabotaging behavior, and how can we overcome it? I'm not exactly depressed, but I end up running things for myself.
Okay. Here, Bache, you really have to work on, as I said, your achievement, what you have been able to achieve so far. This happens when I compare, I expect too much out of me. I keep an expectation bar here. So once I am keeping expectation bar here, right, and I am then trying to achieve so much, amidst all this, what is happening? There are people who are already, achieving it. There are people who are able to achieve what I want to achieve. So that's where I start sabotaging myself, right? My behavior goes, wrong, right? So stop giving these nasty thoughts to your mind. Try and recall your success in the past, right? Celebrate your today's moments that you're spending for good cause, and that will happen once you plan your day pretty well, right? So by planning your day pretty well, by giving good thought to your mind in that way, I am sure you can avoid such big words, called depression. And please stay in touch. Always communicate with your parents. At least 3-4 times in a day. Spend time with your grandparents, your parents. Outside in the garden or on the terrace, right? So once you do it, you spend your time with people, with friends outside. And if you think somebody is hurting you, if you think somebody is hurting you or somebody has hurt you, try and submit that thought to that person only who has given you a problem, because the one who has given you a problem can give you a solution also, right? And many times ये होता है कि किसी ने हमें कुछ कहा, राइट, और हमने उसको एक रॉन्ग तरीके से परसीव कर लिया. रिमेंबर आई डिस्कस्ड अ वर्ड कॉल्ड परसेप्शन. परसेप्शन का मतलब होता है कि मुझे सही ढंग से परसीव करना है. परसीव करना मींस एक बैलेंस्ड अप्रोच रखनी है जब भी मुझे कोई कुछ बोलता है. सो आई विल गेट टू नो कि वो मेरे लिए है, मेरे लिए पॉजिटिव थॉट है या नेगेटिव थॉट है, या मुझे वो फिल्टर कर देना है. तो मुझे वो फिल्टर कर देना है. सो अगर वो थॉट बिल्कुल आउट ऑफ द वे, मुझे फिल्टर आउट कर देना. बट जिसको बोलना है वो बोलेगा. ओके, so do not feel yourself sabotaged or in that way depressed, and try be in the outer world. World is so beautiful to enjoy your life. Okay, so celebrate your success, celebrate your that you are able to have good friends, beautiful parents, surroundings, everything all around is so nice. And I will again request, you must have wonderful teachers around you. Try and spend time with your teachers on call, also one on one. I'm sure they would always love to solve your problems, right? And even if you think that your problem is not over, you can always give me a call, right? I am happy to leave my number. You can chat with me on Insta. My Insta handle is Ajay Sharma TPC, Ajay Sharma TPC _009. You can catch me on YouTube, on my channel, Ajay Sharma, the Mindset Coach. Ajay Sharma, the Mindset Coach. You can write me. I will be able to help you in detail also. Sir, next one, please.
So that's it, sir.
Oh, great. So that we've been able to cover it so far.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful answers.
Right. Thank you so much. And I'm sure all my viewers, listeners, enjoyed that discussions. So I am so glad and happy. And I'm fortunate that I had such lovely audiences for me, right? I convey my, my thanks to all of you, right? Namaste, and take a good care of yourself. Stay safe, stay happy. Thank you.